So I've brought our images in of our focus stack, and you can see them here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So here's our front truffle in focus. And if I go to the first in this series, we'll see the far truffle in focus. And you can see how there's much of a size change, but still no worries. So I'm going to take these 8 images and I'm going to export them. I'm just going to export them as JPEGs to make this process a little faster. We'll make them 1920 since that's the resolution of the video. And I'll export these 8 files and then we'll bring them into Helicon Focus. While that's doing it, let's take a look at the last image here. And this is the one where I adjusted the focal plane of the front element on the bellows system. It does a pretty good job. It's not quite as sharp focus as we're going to see with the focus stacking. As soon as this is done exporting here, we can kind of zoom in a bit. We'll look at the front. Not too bad. We can see we've got the front of the truffle in pretty good focus. We've got a little defocusing out here. That's not necessarily a problem. And as we go to the back, holds focus pretty well. It's really not terrible. And again, since we had the focus plane mirroring this angle of the truffles, it did a pretty good job. And actually, where it started to fall off was towards the back. So that's not terrible, but let's take a look and see what the focus stacking software can do. So let's switch over to Helicon Focus. And I'm just going to open up the images that we just exported. And here's the Focus Stack 2. So here's our 8 images. I'm going to open these, and it brings them right into the software. And you can see again from the first one, we've got focus, nothing in the front. I'm going to use the method A, the basic method, and let's just click on render and see what happens. So we go ahead and it automatically scans through all of them, and holy cow, look at that image. You can see already everything's in close focus here. In fact, let's zoom in a bit. So you can see now this image on the right compared to the one on the left, you can see they're all in focus. Let me go ahead and save this, and we'll bring it back into Lightroom. And I'll call it Focus Stack 2. And save that. I'm going to do it at a high resolution. And we'll take a look at this back in Lightroom so we can see better. Now there's a lot more options to this software, and I invite you to explore more. You can read about what they do. You can see continuous surfaces if we go to method C, if you're doing a very deep stack. And method A is very smooth and preserves colors. I like this one for doing things like food. So let's jump back into Lightroom and we're going to go ahead and import that image. Alright, so here's our focus stack brought in. Let's go ahead and zoom in, and you can see as we scan from the front truffle all the way to the back, everything's just tack sharp. It's really quite a remarkable system. And there's our image ready for the video. Very cool stuff. As long as we're here, let me just show you another example. This was of a deep lollipop, and you can see that it again is in focus from one edge to the other. And when you compare it to the actual individual images, you can see, actually let's just look at the first and last so you can see that. There's the front in focus, there's the back in focus, and we were able to stack it to here. Alright, and here, as I mentioned, just a couple little found objects around the yard, some leaves, and again, this kind of decorative thing can make for really interesting prints. And here's one of our invites, just a leaf with a little bit of water in it. And then getting up close just to one little flower sitting on a railing with some peeling paint, just so you can see. See a little closer. 1, 2, 3. And this stuff makes great decorative artwork that people will buy. And there it is, good enough to eat. And again, the great thing about this part is I get to eat them now. I hope you get a sense of how much fun this has been. Now to me, this is both fun and a little bit dangerous because I get started using these things, and these things are a lot of fun. There's so many things you can go out and photograph you never thought of. This firm's a very decorative kind of photography, by the way. If you're looking to sell photography, you can find random things. I shot some leaves, as I showed you. I shot some flowers. I shot my pen. I shot the truffles, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. In fact, expect to see these on the Candy Apple Shop website before too long, because the photography that we got out of this is nothing short of spectacular. You can also get abstract, find little found items, little shapes, what have you. And if you think color and tone and shape, you can create a lot of interesting decorative photography that people would love to put in their homes. I like to think in terms of 3 or 4, think of a triptych, where I'll actually have 3 different similarly colored images that kind of have some kind of relationship to each other. This opens a whole new world. This is an incredibly well-made system. It's actually very easy to use. It's very obvious. And having the advantage of a mirrorless camera with that focus peaking really lets you see exactly what's in focus in the frame. And you'll have a better understanding both of if you need to tilt the front element to get your focus plane changed, or if you're going to need to do a focus stack because it's just too much for it. But this combination is spectacular. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm probably going to do some more food photography with it and whatever I can find. I know insects are fun, plants, what have you, found items. Stay tuned, there's a lot more to come. So let's get back to the studio.